Thanks for tuning in to our first video podcast of You Know Believe This. Today we're talking about serial killers. I'm Kaylee.
I'm Malachi.
And I'm Tiante.
And I actually just briefly talked on the Zodiac Killer, and I find it very hard to believe that there was no tiny piece of hair or any evidence underneath a fingernail, nothing that could have been caught, nothing that could have been picked up on. I mean, as I spoke before, he was sending ciphers to newspapers. I mean, a fingerprint, nothing. It's so odd to me. Of course, it's still being investigated, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I just think it's weird.
I think he was probably a police officer or some form of law enforcement, maybe even an FBI agent, something high up, because with the technology we have today and relationships, like how I told you before, I thought that the Zodiac Killer had been caught. I thought that his daughter came out and said that she knew that her dad was the Zodiac Killer, but to hear that he hasn't been caught at all yet. How many years has it been since?
Gosh, I mean, over 30, and he still hasn't, I don't know. It's weird to me. All the evidence, it's almost like the case has just been dismissed. And I realize that there are more troubling things in the world, but don't those people deserve justice?
And that is insane because they can't know that he's just stopped killing either.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, he could be dead. We never know.
Yeah,
but
that might have been why it stopped as well.
That sketch was so prominent. It was so big. And they found Ted Bundy by a sketch. Why couldn't they find the Zodiac Killer by a sketch?
Maybe they found him, but we just didn't know.
I feel like they would have definitely told us if he was caught.
FBI or CIA or something high up.
That's true. I mean,
they buried it.
You never know. You really don't. But I mean, Richard Ramirez, as you talked about, he was pretty dumb. Do you want to talk about that?
Okay, how he got caught was he was running down an alleyway, and a group of people found him, tackled him, and they beat him up with a metal pipe until the police came.
Yep.
So it was just
And from our other broadcasts that we've done, it's not different from Luca Magnotta looking at himself on an internet computer and getting caught. If you're gonna be a killer, you should be smarter about it.
Yeah.
Don't be a killer.
I mean, don't be a killer. But you see so many times that these people are doing so many heinous things, and then they're like Luca looking on the computer at themselves, and then they get caught. It's just, do you really not want to get caught, or what?
That's like the Gainesville Ripper in the same way. He committed over 30 murders?
Something like
that. He had them buried in his backyard, and he wasn't caught until he got caught on a burglary charge, and then confessed and copped up to the murder charges. So, and he had them buried in his backyard. So it was
that's so
telling
wild.
on yourself.
But was he being up by a motor pipe by a group of people?
No, but he probably should have been. He probably should have been.
That's the worst part, is getting beat up by a motor pipe by a group of people until the police comes. That's the worst part about that.
And what's weird about the Gainesville Ripper is that most people don't even know who he is. There's another name. Apparently the Phantom Killer is another name that he goes by, and people don't even know until you talked about the Scream franchise. That's exactly what it is to a T. And it's so strange that people would watch the movie and think, oh, this is fictitious, this is scary, but it's not. It was real life, and I think that it's just really troubling to know that there are people like that in this world.
Right. And Scream now, Scream is fictional. It is very dramatic and Hollywood played. It's not completely based off of the Gainesville Ripper, but the character Scream was inspired by the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah, it's wild to know how many movies like Zodiac, or even Richard Ramirez was featured not in one but 2 seasons of American Horror Story, and just to have these people, I guess, not really have their 2 minutes of fame, but have their 2 minutes of fame, it really helps you to realize what was going on and what's real, what's not, sort of thing.
Right, and aiding the idea that your guy was in the police or a member of the FBI, the Gainesville Ripper used the skill that he learned from his father being a police officer.
Right.
To evade police notice.
Which just makes them more dangerous.
My guy was just dumb. He was just complete dumb.
Yeah, he was, I mean, he went on for a long time too, and the idea that people just caught him in an alley, I mean, that sucks, but that's great because, I mean, he was very heinous.
And I wonder if they had similar childhoods, each serial killer.
They could have.
Yeah.
I mean, most, I don't want to speak on all cases, but most, you know, even murder cases these days, it has something to do with abuse from the family or abuse from a significant other. And so you really never know, but
Right.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Right, like Danny Rollins, the Gainesville Ripper. He took a lot of verbal abuse from his father growing up, and
I guess you just never really know how much a person can take before.
yeah, that's like
it's enough.
they say hurt people. So that's what he was hurt, and he took it out on society around him.
Deep.
Some deep shit.
Very deep.
Thank you for tuning in. If you have any information that we left out or anything that we may not have touched on, leave a comment below.
Make sure you like our videos, give us a thumbs up as well.
And make sure if you have any recommendations for our podcast, you leave them below too. We'll see you next week.